Hi, this is Chuck Ginocchio. Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel, especially those of you who have been good enough to subscribe. So, number one comment that I get, pretty frequently is around the cymbals on the drum set, which I thought I would take a minute to just talk through the equipment overall, because I've put this together over a span of over 30 years, and I've been playing for over 40. And I thought it would be maybe worthwhile to take a minute and just talk through all the stuff that's on the setup for those who are interested. So, pull up a seat. I will try to talk this through sort of one layer at a time, and hopefully it will make some sense for those of you who are interested in this stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of cymbals. I have played much. When I gigged, I played a lot less out, because obviously you got to haul the stuff. And a lot of gigs, I would just play a 5-piece with maybe 2 crashes. A single hi-hat and a ride, but not, very much stuff. Sometimes I'd bring a splash on top of a couple crashes, or, but I've played obviously very small setups as well as larger ones. I've never taken the electronics out for a gig. I've played the 7-piece only a couple times at a job, but mostly play 5-piece if I was gigging out, and kind of go with the basics, because that's really all you need for performing out. But as I've been recording, obviously, they have the benefit of setting it all up and kind of going for a little bit richer experience in terms of what I want to do when I'm recording. So anyway, that's the overall thing. In terms of the drums themselves, it's a Yamaha Maple Custom set. I bought it in the early 90s. I want to say 1993. So I've had it for whatever that is, 30 years. It's an 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 setup with a 22-inch bass drum, 14-inch snare. Love the drums, have had them obviously for quite a long time. I bought a set of Roland V drums in 96, I think, 95, 96. So I've had those for quite a long time. I was living in an apartment, still wanted to be able to record, so I picked up a set of V drums, which were new at the time, and they came with a rack system, so I actually have a lot more pads than I'm using here, because I basically prefer to play acoustic and wanted to still have the ability to augment with sounds I could get through the electronics. So I've subsequently started with just one pad and then added the other 2 and a different stand to be able to allow me to mount the cymbals and stuff with it, so that it's kind of a whole extra set of things that give me some percussive elements and timbales and that kind of stuff. And so I do reconfigure that for some songs that are on the channel to be different sounds, but for the most part it's a piccolo snare, timbale sound, and sort of a sound effect is basically the 3 that are generally on there. Other percussive stuff that's there's a ribbon crasher underneath the hi-hat. Still have to get a better mounting option for that. I like the location, but it's not out enough to make it as accessible as I'd like. A jam block on the left, a cowbell, a large cowbell on the right. In terms of the cymbals themselves, there's 5 splashes, 3 8-inches, a 10-inch, a 12, 6 crashes. They're sort of, if you go from the center left, over the 8-inch tom to the right, those are 14, 15, 16, 18. The far left is a 15-inch dark, and then the one that's under the 8-inch inverted splash is a 16A newer Zildjian. So the 14, 15, 16, 18 that kind of go sort of left, center to right are old cymbals. I bought them with money graduating from high school, so I picked those up in 1988. And have had them for whatever that is, 35 years. The 16 on the right is cracked. It does need to be replaced. I don't really want to take it off the drum set. The hi-hats are on the left is a pair of 14-inch New Beats that I bought at the same time I bought the drum set. The right is the original hi-hat top that I got with the drums in high school. And there's a K bottom that I bought when I bought the New Beats on the left. I was originally playing the hi-hat, so we came with an A top and a pasty bottom that was terrible. And so when I moved to 2 hi-hats and got the X-hat set up, I wanted to get a stronger sound on the right hi-hat. So I picked up a K on the bottom, and it's a really nice, thick feel that comes from the right that's different than the new beats on the left. And so it's a nice feel for the two-hat setup. It's a 21-inch medium ride. I bought, I think at the time I got the drums, somewhere around there, and the 20-inch swish on the right had a set of rivets originally. I picked it up mostly thinking about jazz playing, though obviously it has a lot of rock application. There's only one rivet left. I think it's just been played for that many years and that much that it's sort of weathered itself in time. But the cymbals basically have come together over a series of over a period of time. The 15-inch on left, that's a 15-inch dark, is something that I bought that came with the original drums that I have. So I've had that since I was in high school, so probably, a long time, say it that way. It is a stamped old-style Zildjian cymbal, and it is super dark. I don't use it a lot. It's a kind of better as an effect cymbal than anything else, but pretty cool to play. The 16 that's on the left, that's a 16-inch A, I originally bought to replace my 16 that's cracked that's on the right, but it's a darker, newer Zildjian. It doesn't have the brightness of that thin crash that's on the right side, and so I probably will replace the 16 when I set up again, but it's I really want to pick the right cymbal to replace that, because as much as I like the new one, I don't like it's not as bright as the old one, and I really like how crisp that cymbal sounds, when I'm playing. So in any case, the newest of the cymbals is the 16-inch crash on the left, and the 8-inch flash splash that's over the center tom, because that's an 8/8-10 over the center. I moved to 3 splashes over the toms when I set up in my current place that I'm moving from. And that flash splash is probably one of my favorite cymbals. It's got such a quick attack. I think Zildjian designed it with Peter Erskine, if I'm not mistaken, and it is a fantastic cymbal. Other than that, Remo heads, Audix microphones. The drums are individually mic'd. Obviously, there's 2 overheads. There's 1 on the hi-hat. There's 2 on the bass drum, 1 in the hole that's there, and 1 on the head itself to kind of create that dynamic contrast. I record with GoPro 9s. There's 4 of them. There's 1 off to the left that you can't see. And there's 1 on the floor, basically to record the bass drum that's left of the that's behind the hi-hat. I think, can't really see it here. I don't use the 4th camera for really very much. I set that up for streaming, which I haven't really done much streaming yet. I haven't really got that all worked out technically. There's DW pedals for the bass drums. I got a double pedal set up on the bass drum. There's a left pedal for the bass drum trigger with the electronics. That's a a Tama hi-hat stand. Not a big fan of it. Probably will replace that at some point. I just have never really liked that hi-hat stand very much, and probably is one of those things over time I'll replace. In general, I prefer Yamaha hardware. I don't have it. I just think it's really solid stuff. Very sturdy and reliable hardware. I like how Yamaha makes their stuff. But a lot of arms and other stuff that sort of is jury rigged to kind of get everything where I want it positionally, because you can only put so much on the floor, and then the rest you got to kind of do off of the stands once you get them set up. From a recording standpoint, I've got Focusrite's Claret audio interface and preamps. I've got 16 channels on the left. Record all the stuff to PreSonus Studio One for the audio workstation. And so that's pretty much the setup. I mean, again, I picked up, I had a 5-piece Ludwig set in high school, bought the Maple Customs when I was out of college, and played a lot, gigged a lot with this set. Still love the way they sound. Picked up the microphones 10 years ago and really started the channel because I didn't have the time to play out anymore. But the cymbals, again, I picked up in different sets of stages. There's only 1 original cymbal. It's, well, 2 original cymbals, the top hi-hat on the right and the 15 dark on the left. But everything else has been sort of assembled over time as I've wanted to add sort of different options and colors to the recordings to give me more optionality when I'm playing different stuff. So hopefully that was good information. Again, thanks for listening. I really appreciate anybody who's taken the time to subscribe. It's never something I've been promoting in terms of having the channel, but it's really cool to see the numbers sort of change over time. Even though they're small in YouTube sense, they've been a lot of fun to be doing. So thanks to everybody who took the time to listen. I hope you enjoy what you hear.